For these problems, we're going to write 3 additional number sentences for each equation. So remember, an equation is just a number sentence that includes a variable. And a variable is an unknown value that's usually represented by a letter such as X or Y. So before we start with our examples, I have a fact family for us to look at and just kind of think about the relationship between the numbers in a fact family so that we can write our additional number sentences. So in this fact family, we have the numbers 3, 12, and 4. 12 is the largest number in this fact family. So we know, just like addition, multiplication is getting bigger, so 12 has to be the answer to a multiplication problem because it's the biggest value. Well, in a division problem, it's related to subtraction because it's getting smaller. So in a division problem, you need to start with the largest value. And then the other digits you can just sort of put in. You can do 3 times 4 to make 12, or you can do 4 times 3. You can take 12 and divide them into groups of 3 and have 4 groups, or you can take 12 and divide them into groups of 4 and have 3 groups. So remember, with these fact families with multiplication and division, the largest number always goes at the end of a multiplication problem, and the largest number always goes at the beginning of a division problem. So now we can look at some examples on how to write 3 additional number sentences. The first thing you'd want to do is to figure out what's the biggest value. In this problem, is the biggest value going to be y, 9, or 5? Well, since it's a division problem and the division problems start with the largest value, y is going to be the largest value. So that means if we do another division problem, y is still going to be the largest value. The only thing that's going to change are the other 2 numbers. They're going to switch places. And now we can do 2 multiplication sentences. So if y was at the beginning of a division problem, y has to be at the end of a multiplication problem. So then for this number sentence, we can do 5 times 9 equals y, or we could do 9 times 5 equals y. So let's look at another one. The first thing we want to do is figure out which of these values is the biggest. So since it's a multiplication problem, I know that the biggest value goes at the end of a multiplication problem. So if I did another multiplication problem, the 56 would still be in the end by itself behind the equal sign. The other 2 factors would trade places though. Okay, and now I can make a division number sentence, but I know that if it's 56 that's at the end of a multiplication, then the 56 has to be at the beginning of the division. And then the other numbers are just going to fill in the other places. And so for my last division problem, I would have 56 divided by 7 equals y. All right, we'll do the last one. The first step is to figure out which value out of these 3 numbers is the biggest. And since y is at the beginning and it's a division problem, we know that y is the biggest. So we can write another division problem that begins with y and where we just trade places with the other numbers. And then we can do 2 multiplication number sentences, but we know that they're going to end with y this time because the largest value goes at the end of a multiplication sentence. So the other 2 numbers become the factors, and then you switch them. All right, you try yours on your own. Good luck.